Hey everyone, and welcome to my work in progress of my Lina Inverse cosplay. So these are all the materials you need: black paint, gold paint, a few sheets of craft foam, and now what I'm using is these two plastic shoe things that came with the sandals I'm gonna wear for my Nami cosplay. And these I took off my Raven belt, and I'll put them like right here. It's a little hard to see because they're so transparent, but I'm gonna paint them black. I'm gonna do this off camera because it's gonna take a while. Okay, so off camera I painted the top of it black with this, but I stopped because I completely forgot about these jewels that go on. Now you're gonna see me struggle. So now you want to put the gem into the hole I just cut out, and obviously you'll want to glue it. Okay, my voice is going to be a little scratchy. I don't know what's wrong with me, so I'm going to try to constantly clear my throat. So for some god-awful reason, I thought it was a good idea to remove the golden ring off my resin gem that I used for my Raven cosplay. But I'm glad I ended up doing this because I ended up getting a good result. Obviously, for this part of the cosplay, you just need to make resin and make the golden rings out of craft foam. So obviously you want to stick it into the hole and lay it down upside down. And you want to repeat the process. You see what I mean? My throat's getting scratchy. So now that it's all dry, I'm putting the ring on top. So I'm going to do my best to explain this part. I'm tracing the shape of the shoe plastics, that's what I'm going to call them, and use the whatever to make the shoulder pads even bigger. Because something I noticed is that I made my shoulder pads too small, and I decided to use black craft foam. Of course, first you want to cut it in half and not do what I'm doing right now. And you're gonna glue them together. Also, what I do is that I put hair clips on to keep it from falling off. So I'm trying to do this reference picture right here, And I'm gonna sketch out the lines in Lina's armor. And it was actually much easier than I thought it would be. And you're gonna glue that on as well. I'll get to that. And of course you want to trace it with the other sheet of craft foam. So I couldn't really make out the shape that goes under the gem of the armor. So I strongly referenced the printed out image and drew what I saw. It's not accurate, but whatever. I'm saying it's not accurate because then I went online to look at the costume I wanted to order and realized that it was so wrong. That what I drew looked so wrong compared to what it actually looks like. And I was originally gonna cut the shapes up and glue them back on, but seeing how well I carved it, how I carved the shapes with the pen, I realized I didn't have to do that. Now you're going to glue all these pieces on. Glue them on to the parts of the armor of where they have to be. I don't think I really had to explain it. It was pretty obvious what you had to do. And next, the golden lines. Again, use hair clips to pin it. Because I've tried this and sewing pins will not work. I tried. So I'm laying it down so it dries better, so it doesn't fall off. And because at the time I couldn't find my measuring tape, I decided to pin the armor to my mannequin and see how much craft foam I needed for the neckline. I don't think it's really a neckline, but I don't know what else to call it. And off camera, I marked the parts that wouldn't show. But actually, I did this part wrong. But again, I don't really care. And now painting. Just paint all the parts gold and try not to get any gold on the black pieces like I did. And I paint the rest off camera. Next is gesso. So what I did is that I painted the shoe parts only, the shoe plastic covers only, because at the time the rest of the paint was still wet. So I painted the rest with gesso off camera. I felt like I didn't have to show it because you get the idea. You could also use, what's it called? I just remembered it's called clear coating. You could use clear coating instead, or use both gesso and clear coating, but I don't have any. And this is the finished result. This was only part 1 of making the Lina armor because this was a pretty long video to edit and make. So subscribe to see part 2, where I make the talismans. So anyway, this is the result, guys. See you next time with another cosplay, as always.